Good afternoon, this is Cheryl at Sea Spirit Tyrone. And I know hashtags run fast, so I'm getting in on this while the getting's good. This is so good for me. I am returning because my guys kicked my butt. I'm a beginner. I'm not a beginner. I'm 68, so I've been studying this pretty much since we took our 70s, our hitchhiking up and down the California coast and through Canada on our spiritual quest, Zen centers, all those awesome things we did, survival schools. So anyway, it's interesting because I've gypsied around what I've ended up with. So like I said, most of the stuff I have is old, and I find it important, you know, if we reach back to work with our ancestors, which I'm not so, I know earthy, that's real important, but I think it's important, kind of as Richard Allard Miller says, one of my favorite modern day mystics, is know that feeling that is there that we get. Because that's what we're going to ride with, that feeling. And then the energy responds to our consciousness. So, but remember the feeling you had when we were there. Because, I mean, you know, I'm older than y'all, but I'm looking at the Bardo a lot sooner and navigating through. So I'm a little bit of everything. And anyway, that was kind of really off the wall. The reason of this video is the 5 Masters. And I'm replying to Natalia for Boris. And as usual, I guess that whole lead up was my stuff's going to be strange. Because I've been removed from the community and what all was going on with on the internet. So there we go. So my first book, I guess, would be kind of called Journey to the Sacred. And I don't have fancy philos. I see all these YouTubers have all these beautiful, beautiful notebooks with all these beautiful pages they put in. But here's what I got. I got a dollar store book. And in this book, I seem to do better. I do good visually learning also. I also do well writing things out. That's because I was born linear. I was not born digital. I mean, my DNA, I'm having to change my DNA because my DNA is linear from the 50s. So anyway, I kind of started out in this book with, you know, Tyrone, the Book of Love, the Book of Life. And off the, I got the esoteric names of the Trumps off some theosophical lectures that I listened to. And then I have the numerology that's working best for me. I've studied so many different numerologies. I've taken numerology classes, but this is working well for me. And then of each card, now I have another book that's just my impressions, but each card I write in what I see from other books. In fact, some of what this Marielle book is going to go into this book. So I seem to do well when I write my own textbooks, of which I seem to write about quite a few things. And then I give 3 pages here to the Trumps. So this is something I go through and read, and it is a whole mishmash of stuff. Absolutely mishmash. But it's okay, because it's everything I've put in. And as I grow, some of the stuff I just really doesn't apply. But this carries everything from hermetics to the basic Rider-Waite definition, to whatever I want to put in there. Whatever feels to me should be there. I do, of course, the same thing with the minors. And I was just learning. I mean, I was so new. Look, I printed out these little teeny pictures, but now I've got a new printer. Isn't that something? I went to buy ink, and for $40 less I could buy a new printer. And then the ink to refill the printer when the original ran out was still a little bit less than the ink to buy for the printer I had. So anyway, I did these in the backwards to the A. So once I got there, I didn't know what to do. I threw in a few card spreads. But basically then in the back of this book I have I have many books on the Kabbalah. It just was not, to go this way better, it just was not my time I have been on the edge of studying this for very long, but it didn't click. 10 years ago, it started coming in though. And then here, I have written my own notes and correspondences, more different teachers off the internet, different books. And then this book has, just a few pages left. And I'll be on to another one. And actually I have some stuff already to transfer because I got kind of out a little far. Like I'm making my own Marseille book. And I've only 3 cards into that, but where I have a picture and go through. So I guess this is my number one go-to because everything that I want to put in there, I want to put in here, but I'm a little behind because I want to put a few of the Marielle stuff. Just a little bit, just the part that goes with. And even each time I go reread this, I grow. Because this is a combination of alchemical sites, of hermetic, it's just whatever I put in there, okay? If I find something really doesn't apply, doesn't work with me, I go through and white it out, and I can fill the space with something else. But this is my tarot book. I don't have it decorated yet or anything. My go-to book, I'm going to call it Journey to the Sacred, or Jer Hather's Journey to Love. It's got many names. My second go-to master book is one of the new books I bought, and this is the Alejandro Murasky, The Way of Tarot, the Spiritual Teacher. Now, the Marseille is amazing. This book, of course, does a lot with numbers. It has mandala layouts where you can kind of see how the cards react. It's got colors, numbers. One of my favorite things in here, let me see if I'm to that. Of course, it has, the trumps. And then it goes through and gives keywords. It gives inner reading. It gives all these little things that are symbols that you can use or not. But what does strike is color. It talks a lot about the colors, which way they're looking. These are the oldest tarot, the old trumps and the pips. And it's absolutely fascinating. And then they always have one space here. Where's it over here? And if the Emperor spoke, and they do this with every single card, and I'm just going to say, I am security, I am the personification of force. When I'm speaking inside you, you understand that weakness does not exist. As long as you have not seen me, you know only insecurity. And then, of course, there's much more. So it goes through that. It goes through the pips. It goes through how the numbers relate in the pips, how the flowers bloom. And if you know your numerology, I really believe that. If you know your numerology, your elements, your colors, then they speak. So I was keeping this. Oh, and then it also goes through how to divide them up and how the pips correspond to the major arcana, all numerology, and even how to add cards together, like the Tower and the High Priestess. So I had this book at my bedside. It's bedside reading. I haul it on, off and on. I usually try to read like a section of it, at least. And I've removed all my bookmarks out of there. Anyway, you'll see this book around. And if you're interested in the Marseille, which just, to me, opens up so much of ancient general life, where we're coming from. This is book. And I also have that one by Bondovi or something. And that's the one I'm kind of writing my own book. I copied a bunch of the what he had available online and then put pictures of the cards, and I'm moving through it. My next book, it's funny, I've been back to the island for 10 years, and I kept buying cards off every couple years, a year or so. I'd buy a card, I'd walk in, I'd buy a book. Now here's the really strange thing. When I walked in, see, I'm not on my ball, so I'm bouncing, looking for my place. I love my ball. When I go in, it was like I was looking for something specific. And like I said, it's a lot of 101. at our metaphysical bookstore here, which is so grateful that we have those as a space holder on this island. We also have pyramids that correspond with pyramids farther out in the water. Pirates, we got it. But anyway, one day I went in and I bought the Gnostic Tarot. Now, I didn't realize at the time, because I haven't been doing tarot, and I wasn't in the internet on tarot. I was on the internet taking other classes, but not in the tarot at that time so much. And I just came home with it like, oh, okay. So this book says Mandalas for Spiritual Transformation. And then it's got these cards. And it shows on here, it's got the weight and the wildwood, is it? Ravenswood. But it also has here, and you can't see it. If I show it to you, I can't see it. But it has the Gnostic interpretations and the regular meanings of the Rider-Waite, the upright. I don't really read reverse, so that doesn't really matter. But I take these Gnostic interpretations, and it's got like numerology, like of what the 4 8s would be. And obviously, I've been in this book. Where have I been? Since I have been back on the island, away from my mountains of origin, even though my origin is here. I'm a water coastal girl here. I've been in these books. So obviously, I'm getting something out of them. And I take things out of these books, and like I said, I write them in my book. And then back here we have Gnostic Tarot Mandalas. You know why I'm doing this? Let's give a plug to the Witchery on Galveston Island. Okay, Metaphysical Books and Gifts. There is there. We are so grateful that they are holding a space. I really want to move back to the island and start a metaphysical bookstore, but Clyde and Kimberly have the money, and they were already here, and Kimberly and I have the same birthday. How cool is that? Anyway, we get into Gnostic Mandalas here, and I'm just going to show a few, because I don't even understand them all. The sky and earth transcendentals. It's got, I mean, there's so much here. There's 2 books that I'd like to get, that Natalia, that you showed, and I probably will. But, you know, I'm on the little old lady limited budget thing. And one thing I did, there's 2 things I did in my life. And you had talked about this tarot card thing. One was to go on survival school in the Wind River Mountains in Wyoming, in the wilderness areas, in the glaciers, packing everything on our back and digging our cache. And you find out what you need. But then when we were doing all that hitchhiking around in that same year, we studied the Zen Center, and you had 3 bowls. Well, between the 3 bowls in the Zen Center and seeing the Roshi once a day, absolute quiet, and the wilderness school, where you carried everything you needed on your back, you know, 2 sets of clothes, you were dressed, we hiked through snow. What do you need? So, you know, when is enough? And it's all in the mind, you know, well, it's not all in the mind. I need keys for intuition, but I don't know, I'm not going to rush out and buy a whole lot of books till I really get these good overviews from everybody, which I really appreciate. And there again is the Kabbalah, the Tree of Life, which holds a fascination for me, and I would show you a picture if I wouldn't crumble, but where again, I have drawn that out. So like I watched a video the other day how, you know, if the Pope becomes too awful, he can be the devil, but I believe that they're right across on the Tree of Life, right? So anyway, here's a book I have, Gnostic Tarot. And then the next one, now at our bookstore downtown, our Mace, our wizard, he is a Crowley fan, and I'm a Dion Fortune fan who's split from Crowley. So I'm not adverse Crowley. I mean, I think he got a little bit strange, but there's a certain point. Well, yeah. You know, he was a magician. So this Thoth Tarot is the one that was recommended to me. And, you know, I'd gotten rid of my cards, I told you. But this has colors, numbers, the Tree of Life. This interpretation, he said, was by someone who was really close to Aleister Crowley. This is the one he recommended. And it's got all your correspondences of your planets with your Tree of Life, and goes through the construction and the 12 petals of the zodiac. Now, one thing I'm lacking, and I probably need that book, I left the list over there. I want a book that gives me what decan of degree of each zodiac sign each card is. But because I'm such a book writer for myself, I have a ring binder in there. It's been sitting there for I don't know how many years. And I believe it's got Mary Greer's astrology wheel and spread in there that I had copied and put away. God, my kids are in high school, and they're in their 40s now. Okay, so I might have that without having to go too much effort to find it, because I was thinking about buying that book, Everything About Tarot, anyway, the one you had rebought, but I'm really interested in that one by that Ian guy. So anyway, back to good old Thoth here. Thoth. Yeah. We've got colors, again, color charts, and key numbers. And I will just, obviously I've been working in here. I have, it's so strange, because I have tabs sticking in here, see? Here we have the world of colors. I was an RN. I was an herbalist before I was an RN. Studied herbology. RN pays the bills. I didn't have enough guts as these people now, having 2 children and the guts to stay at home and homeschool them and do all that back in the 70s and 80s. I admire y'all that are doing that now. So anyway, it's got that zodiac belt stuff. So this was obviously a bit over my head at the time. Now, what did I just have marked? I had marked the Empress, I believe, for some reason. And Daughter of the Mighty One, Venus, we all know that, okay. Crowned with stars, a winged goddess stands on the moon. Scepter and a shield, the Hebrew letter Daleth, door, the door. Path 14, Doreen Chakma, wisdom to Binah, understanding, which makes me want to go get the book The Sea Priestess by Dion Fortune and chant those songs that are in there. Colors, emerald green, sky blue, early spring, bright rose. This is the harmony of the universe. That love unites the will to create with the understanding of that creation. Understand thine own will. Will. Understand thine own will. We are a nation of words. We're a world of words. And will. So there's will, and then like those sevenfold hermetic cards I have is have your reason, keep your will and appetite under control, but are balanced. But also follow divine will. So know thy will. And the understanding of the creation, understand how thine own will. Love and let love rejoice in every shape of love, and let thy rapture and thy nourishment thereof. And then it's got more commentary on it. So I'm going to count this book, because I have a few other books, you know, the old books from 20 years ago on numerologies with the pages taped in, odds and ends. But these are probably the books that I'm using right now. This and, but of course, they all pretty much get written into my black book, because that's a book I can study and I can pack. Now I have this other little book by Shambhala Press. I was a Buddha. My husband was a Buddhist. I've studied Buddhism, Hinduism. I was a Baha'i. I am everything. I am nothing. I just am. I am on that I am. I am a master. So here's a path to self-development, Shambhala Press, a Buddhist press. And I think the most interesting, like I said, 1996, Boston and London. And she gives a little commentary on each card. It is only that much, okay? The most curious thing is she starts with the Fool and she ends with the Magician. So sometimes I keep this at my bedside. You know, I try to, before I jump into, if I need to jump into a book of total escape, of which I like, paranormal, historical, romances, with, you know, with all those values of which I so abhor and refuse to abide by in this life. But this is a book, I'll read a piece of it, I'll read a chapter of one of the other ones. So anyway, I went downtown before I did this. I had some Diablo coffee at a pecan bar. I got some sun, some wind, some water. I got some earth. It's gorgeous outside. In the 60s, which for this island, I mean, we're just loving it because it's not 92. And so I want to get these done, and then I want to go to work, actually with the elements, working with my hands to create. Because for all this anxiety, know thine own will, and put it into creativity. So that is my response to the 5 Master Tarot decks. I don't know how I spun through that, but I did it. And like you said, if you have 1, if you have 5, this is what I have. And it's funny, like I said, even though the whole time I've been back here, I haven't been into tarot, but I have bought cards and I have bought books. And I guess I have been into tarot, and then I just got so locked into the misery that I was in that I didn't use it. But I'm using it now. So thank you, everybody, for listening. May the goddess bless. I hope I wasn't too loud. If anybody is just learning and would like to follow me, that would be fun. What is that? Arrogance, the childhood arrogance of innocence, because I'm having so much fun returning to the tarot and blending everything that I've learned in the last 60 years, 50 years, 60 years, whatever. So thank you very much. Those are my 5 master decks. Not that I have hardly any more than that anyway. May the goddess bless. Talk to you later. Love you all.